Yo, good morning, everybody. This is Chris here on the island of Kauai, and it is 5 in the morning over here. You can hear the roosters crowing. I'm at my father's house here, and we are trading here for Friday. So it's been a big risk-off day for sure. Um, so the, pretty much the deal is coronavirus cases are spiking in the U.S., and Texas has decided to reclose taverns and bars. So that is not good news. And you can kind of see it in the market with what's going on today. People are starting to get concerned, and people are starting to run to the dollar and the yen. So that is what we're seeing right now. Um, and once again, I think the U.S. is dealing with it more troubling than most of the other countries, but we have a lot of people here, and the fact that the cases are spiking with the reopening of the states is not good. So let's take a look and see yesterday kind of what we had going on. I'll start with that. We had that Euro Kiwi trade again. So we got in at this level here at 74.62. It dropped, spiked up, dropped again, and we got out right here at this level at 74.14. That was 9 p.m. Here, so that was the 8 a.m. London time. So that's my rule when I get out, no matter what. And it did save us, obviously. This time you can see it would have come up and got us out of here. But you can also see that this level is pretty strong here, and I don't know how much legs the euro has against the Kiwi, which economically is still very strong and is less impacted, I think, by the coronavirus than the eurozone's going to be. So that is what we had yesterday. So it was a nice profit. We probably had a 2-3 to 1 on that one. So pretty good. This Euro Kiwi has been pretty good to us this week. So let's take a look at the heat map, and you can probably see what's going on right at you. I mean, it's interesting that the pound's being sold off pretty substantially. There's nothing big that is causing it, other than I think just the Brexit woes, and I couldn't find anything else news-wise to see the decline, but it's not huge. I mean, you're looking at down 0.72% to the U.S., so that was pretty substantial. Yen is bought pretty much across the board, but it's not heavy. So looking at the heat map, and you can see some of the big spikes here in the U.S. dollar, I would actually be a seller of the dollar. That is where I think there's some value. I still think Aussie, Kiwi are in better position than the dollar is, and the problem is the Aussie, Kiwi, and CAD are going to be dragged along with the risk-off tone. So actually, the euro might be a better buy than the dollar. But it's definitely risk-off going into today. One thing I always like to look at is the Dow. I like to look at the VIX. That tells you kind of the tell here. So Dow's down 500. The VIX is down 7%. Or excuse me, the VIX is up 7%, but it was up 10% a minute ago. So I would anticipate continued selling, though, because you can see the Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, they're all down well over 1%, and that tells me there's a pretty heavy trend. Euro is down, obviously. The Asian markets were up for the most part, except for Hong Kong. Oil down 72 cents. Gold is down. So that's an interesting development there. Platinum and palladium are up. So that's don't know why palladium is up so much. And then China is getting a little tough on their rhetoric on meddling with Hong Kong could jeopardize the phase 1 deal with the U.S. So that is not good. And I'm just taking a look and see if there's anything else crazy here. Microsoft to close physical store locations permanently. That's not good at all. Closing all physical stores permanently. So that's what we have going on today. Trade-wise, like I said, I'd be looking for something risk off. You know, Aussie US is at a key level at 68.41. I don't know if it'll bounce off that today. I think the risk off has really gotten people today. And I think the euro is going to get hit. The euro's going to get whacked today. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if there's any trades, guys. I don't know if there's anything going on today that's worthwhile. I mean, it's risk off for sure. U.S. was franc, maybe. So what we're looking for today, folks, is we're looking for a pair that moves fast, because there tends to be retracement in Friday, especially, and that's more what I'd be looking for, is something that's going to move and go down fast. I don't see anything spectacular. Like the Kiwi US, it's down to a really good level at 64.04, but I don't know if it's going to retrace this Friday session. So actually, one trade that could be good would be Pound Aussie. That's at a key level 80.13. It broke it. It's consolidating, but starting to get some legs here. Let's take a look at that. Kiwi, excuse me, Pound Aussie. Pound Aussie. Pound's being sold off. I think the Brexit concerns are what's going on next week. And you can see even like Euro Kiwi is stalling here. So I don't know if you can see this downward trajectory. I'd be interested in this, actually. This is a pretty good move. Let's pull it up. Let's see what the volume's looking like, guys, on this latest downturn. So the buildup has actually been pretty substantial across the board, but you can see right here it's been higher. So 80.35. So you'd be looking at maybe a 40 pip stop. Target would be the low, so 79.34. Let's take a look at that. So target would be down here. I mean, you'd be looking at 60 pips to a 40 pips, so 1.5 to 1, so not substantially good. I mean, we could go lower here and go the stop here at 80.18. You can see the price action here. This thing's going to drop. It will drop. My only worry about this one, though, is the China talk. that could stall things here. I mean, it's tested it once, twice, 3 times. I don't see a huge amount of volume. There's volume right here, so you can see this big volume. This is a big level right here, because look at the nature of this drop down and spike up. That generally tells you that this level is going to be respected. I don't think this thing will be broken on a Friday. So you can already see there's not really a lot of follow through on this one. I don't like the risk to reward, guys. Maybe if it got up to 36, if it got up to the figure at 180, it might be worth a while. But right now it's not. And the other thing I don't like to see is I don't like to see volume that's this evenly dispersed, because that tells me that none of these levels is that strong. Like you can see here, there's little volume, and then there's this big spike. This is a level right here at 8105. This one's big, but this one's almost as big. This one's almost as big. So I don't know if this is something I want to trade today. It looked good at first, but when you look at all the information and you kind of think through all of the sentiment for today, I don't know if it's going to be something that'll hit our target. That level down that we'd be aiming for is pretty strong based on the bounce off that it had. So I'm going to continue looking to see if I can find anything. I know US CAD has spiked up substantially. I mean, this sucker took off. So the Canadian dollar with that downgrade, I think, is something to look out for. Pounds being sold off, euro not as much. It's interesting. I'm going to take a look at the pound US. Oh, you can see here comes the drop. Is it going to drop? I think it will. The risk reward just wasn't there, guys. I couldn't do it. This one's interesting. So this could be a nice move. It is actually at a level. Pound US at 123.20. You can see it stopped. So what I'd like to look at is I want to see some type of reversal pattern on this thing. So what I'd like to see on maybe even if it's just a 5-minute chart, if I see a 3-bar down and a 3-bar up like a V pattern, that tells me that this sucker's going to reverse. But I do want to see that before I go. Like you can see here, here's a 3-bar pattern. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That tells you that this level is a firm rejection. You can see the wicks at the top, so that's why you saw this huge go down. So this could be something to watch out for on the 5-minute chart for a move up. Once again, there's a flight to the US dollar, but it's not very high yielding, and plus all of this economic impact is US impacted. So that gives me some reason to want to go long on some of these US moves. I just don't think the dollar's particularly strong. So we'll keep an eye on this one. I think that's the only one I'd be interested in trading today. I just think the Aussie is going to be too dragged down by risk. Because there is an Aussie US that could be good. And I mean, it's at a level support at 68.41. Yeah, I'll go back to, let me show you that one. My fear too is this thing doesn't move that fast, but you can see it's definitely built a base over here. If we go to 30-minute chart, we can see what's going on here. So the move would only be 26 pips. Your stop, you'd be looking at 10. So you could get a 2-to-1 on this. You could get a 2-to-1 here. I do think the volume starts building up right here at 68.67. So actually, this could be a nice little move. It'd have to be a quick actor. I just didn't like that comment from China. That that scared me. That scared me. Yeah, you can see how it's not dropping here, guys. It did a little fakey here, and then it's running into some price action. So, very interesting, huh? Very interesting. I think we're gonna stick with this pound US. I like this trade better. Wicks are starting to develop down here. I mean, you're looking at if you go now, you're looking at a 10 pip stop, and possibility of 80 pips for a profit target, but it's not really it's not showing itself yet. It's kind of consolidating, figure out where it wants to go next. It's still early on in the London close session, so London hasn't even closed yet. This was kind of the fix. Um, let's see what happens here in the next 30 minutes or so. That'll tell us what's going on. So here's a little tip for all of you for London close traders. So it's not just London close; it's ramping up into lunchtime for the U.S. So you've got all these traders and you've got bankers, and they're going to make their moves before 6 a.m. So if there's a continuation, it's going to show before that, and then it'll probably bounce back up during lunchtime, and then it'll make another leg down. But the 4:30 to 5 p.m. London time frame is a really good time to see, on big moves like this. Is there going to be continuation? So are these guys just loading back up here and trying to get liquidity to take it another leg down, which happens a lot on the pound US, or has it run into resistance? So the 5 minute chart's kind of a good way to see what they're doing um, on this and what their plan is. If they plan on taking it another leg down, we could probably get it on a breakout when it goes down into this and put a stop right here. But I'm interested in trading it reverse for a pretty hefty, reward to risk. So for me, if it breaks down below this, um, we'll wait for that leg down to support itself. But that tells me that there's going to be more downward trajectory on this one. So we'll keep an eye on it, and I'll let you guys know if we have a trade. Okay. So thanks again, and hope you all have a great weekend, and hope you made some money this week. Mahalo.
trade, and I wanted to share that with you. So we got in on a US yen short. So frame, which is the one I'm more interested in, which would be the 30-minute. You can see a little bit of a volume base right here, right where it got rejected pretty firmly. So we got in at 107.24. And the target is 106.90, and stop is 10 pips. So if it breaks above 107.34, that means it broke above the volume buildup, and we're not interested in anymore. So a 3.5 to 1 reward to risk, and this should play out here before the end of the session. So let's take a look. Just don't forget, close out your trades before end of day, and have a great weekend all. Let's see if we can make some money here. Thanks.